Hello, this is Chris Haskell from They Live by Film. For those that don't know us, Adam, Zach, and we built a podcast over the last 2 years that's a combination of film discussion from 3 very different perspectives, as well as industry interviews with the leaders in boutique Blu-ray and 4K community. We started with Dev Crocodile, but over time we've been lucky enough to speak with Arrow Video, Severin, Mondo Macabro, Vinegar Syndrome, Radiance, Indicator, most of the OCN partner labels. It's been a blast. You can find us wherever you podcast, and also actually recently as part of Someone's Favorite Production Podcast Network. We hope to see you online.
Are you a film fan who loves the ultimate home video experience? Look no further than The Disconnected. Your host, Ryan Verrill, is your go-to source for the latest and most accurate information on home video releases, exclusive interviews with industry insiders and filmmakers, and has established a thriving community where every film and physical media enthusiast feels welcome. From hidden gems to blockbuster hits, The Disconnected brings you insider knowledge and a welcoming space to share your love of cinema. Watch every Thursday night at 9:30 Eastern, 6:30 Pacific for the live announcements show, and follow The Disconnected on social media to stay updated. Subscribe to The Disconnected on YouTube or on the podcast provider of your choice, and dive into a world where every movie night is an adventure.
Welcome to the Kulturecast. I'm Chris Stachiw, and I am joined, as always, by my co-host. He's a fine girl, Mr. Eric Kniss.
Oh, yeah, you know I'm a fucking classy-ass lady.
And we are joined by a frequent Marvel movie talker and a director in his own right, Mr. Matt Campagna. How are you doing today, Matt?
I'm good. But we do speak a fair bit about DC movies, just usually not so kindly.
I didn't want to mention those, man. Come on.
Let's not put a downer on
I'm sorry. They do exist, and if anyone in the world is lucky, Wonder Woman will be the first good one since Batman Begins, and that would be great. It's a cool song, man. I gotta say, of all the garbage music that Hans Zimmer has thrown at us for DC. It's nice to hear. I'm not even sure he wrote it, but it's nice to hear the Wonder Woman music come out, because that's the first thing that sounds like a proper theme for I know that sound when I hear it, and it means a character. And to me, that's the first good theme since Danny Elfman's Batman.
I hate to tell you this, Matt, but I'm assuming you're going to be joining us next month to talk Wonder Woman, and I'm just going to let the cat out of the bag here. It's going to fucking suck.
I don't know, man.
Oh,
I don't know. I'm excited that for the first time, two, I don't want to call them garbage filmmakers, but they've made garbage films. Nolan and Snyder won't be wrecking DC movies for the first time in 4 movies. And I mean, Ayer, kind of crap, but the two that to me are the worst offenders. It'll be nice that Snyder and Nolan have a wide berth from Wonder Woman. I'm expecting something better, which is, I could get hit in the face and it'd be better than Batman versus Superman.
Oof. Shit, fighting words. Fuck.
Shots fired.
We are here, though, today to talk Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, which none of these rancid trash can film directors are involved with. James Gunn is the one who directed it. James Gunn is a fantastic film director who directed good films outside of his Marvel movies. If you've never seen Super and if you've never seen Slither, you probably just want to pause this podcast right now and go watch those movies. Gonna kind of
they're pretty good.
bury Guardians of the Galaxy a little bit, but those movies are better than Guardians of the Galaxy. But I mean, that's because they're not Marvel movies.
They're also different.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Like, they're
different. I mean, I don't know. The Guardians of the Galaxy films are spectacular and special and wonderful, and I wouldn't denigrate them by saying they're better.
I mean, Super is a superhero movie.
Kinda.
Yeah, but it ain't the Guardians.
It's Rainn Wilson as a emotionally troubled man.
Is basically the only thing he ever played.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah,
it's true.
Like, if Harcourt Fenton Mudd can't be described as that, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what I would call him.
So let's talk about Guardians of the Galaxy. So film came out this past week. It is the biggest film right now in the country, unsurprisingly, as every single Marvel movie always is. Is directed, like I said, by James Gunn, written by James Gunn, based on the Marvel comics of the same name. It stars Chris Pratt, Zoe Saldana, Dave Bautista, Vin Diesel, and Bradley Cooper, and Michael Rooker, and Karen Gillan, all returning as their as their characters from the first film. There are some new additions to the cast, namely one Mr. Kurt Russell and Sylvester Stallone. Yes, that's Sylvester Stallone, not another one. Elizabeth Debicki and Pom Klementieff round out the cast. The IMDb synopsis for the film is set to the backdrop of Awesome Mixtape number 2, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, continues the team's adventures as they unravel the mystery of Peter Quill's true parentage.
Hope you're ready. It'll be here any minute. Is that a rifle?
You don't know what a rifle looks like?
It's just swords were your thing and guns were mine. But I guess we're both doing guns now. I just didn't know that.
Well, that's intense.
I see it within you. Fear, jealousy, betrayal. It is our duty to cleanse the universe of this weakness.
You know, they told me you people were conceited douchebags, but that isn't true at all.
Dude!
I'm using my wrong eye.
Drew, put your seatbelt on! So we're saving the galaxy again?
Yep.
Awesome! We're really gonna be able to jack up our price if we're two-time galaxy savers.
Yes!
Sometimes the thing you're searching for your whole life, it's right there by your side all along.
You're right.
All you do is yell at each other. You're not friends.
No, we're family. Except maybe her. After all these years, I've found you.
And who the hell are you?
I'm your dad, Peter.
So we're watching this movie because it's a Marvel movie and everybody loves Marvel movies, myself included. I kind of came around the time Guardians of the Galaxy 1 came out to the fact that the Marvel movies are quite good. So the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie for me has a special place in my heart. I'm curious, Mr. Campagna, what are your thoughts on this second Guardians of the Galaxy outing?
Well, here's the thing. Anytime you're introduced to an incredible new world, you'll never have that experience again. The Matrix movies, for example. The second and third movies have better craftsmanship in so many ways than the first one. But there's only one first time you find out about the Matrix. And so you can't have that happen again. Empire Strikes Back is a better film in every bloody way than A New Hope. But you're only going to watch Star Wars for the first time once, and it happens with A New Hope. So these movies each get a special place in our hearts because our eyes are open in a way they've never been before. And so, to me, Guardians of the Galaxy has that value to it, and it always will. But with a cardboard cutout villain like Ronan, it's kind of hard to... And I watched it again immediately after I saw Guardians 2 because I wanted to see if my feelings about Guardians 2 were right. And yeah, Guardians 1 is just a weaker film in almost every way. But it's the first time you get to feel that world. And Guardians 2 in no way disappoints, gives you a far better arc with your antagonist and protagonist, and it gives you an unconventional one in the way that Civil War gave us an unconventional Marvel movie. One that didn't end in a giant, 7,000 things versus our favorite characters kind of ending. The rampant, massive carnage seems to be subverted by Marvel these last few outings, and it's beautiful to see it happen in Guardians 2. It's a movie that involves so much more maturity in every way. James Gunn as a filmmaker, the characters, the arc of the characters, not just their behavior, not just Pratt being less of a Pratt, him being him playing a Star-Lord going from his adolescence into his manhood, I think is beautiful. The sister relationship between Nebula and Gamora is gorgeous. It's a movie about family, and it's so emotional and beautiful, and it does what Civil War did, which is take wacky, crazy, fun comic book characters and make something just gorgeous as a film.
What about you, Eric?
Yeah, I totally agree with Matt. The first Guardians, there's nothing like watching the first one of anything, the first Indiana Jones movie, the first, Matrix movie, the first Guardians movie. They're all going to have that special, they're introducing you to the character.
Do you love movies? So do I. What's up, y'all? It's KB, and I love movies. Inviting you to listen to The Conversation, a film podcast where passion meets perspective and opinion. From the old school to the new, I invite a guest on to discuss the movies that thrill us, challenge us, break our hearts, or even blow our minds. There's always new episodes dropping wherever you get your podcasts. So join the conversation. We don't just watch movies. We love talking about them too. The Conversation with KB Loves Movies, a part of Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.
The audio commentary. It's a dying art form, but here at One Track Mind, I, your wonky yet affable host Ryan Luis Rodriguez, analyze film through the prism of these embryonic forms of podcasting, one audio commentary at a time. Masterpieces, crapster pieces, live action, animation, cult classics, films literally no one has ever heard of. No track is too small and no track is too big. Join me and my guests from the entertainment world as we keep these features alive every other Tuesday. Hey, who else is going to discuss Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey one week and Citizen Kane the next? Us, that's who. Sure, you have to put up with my voice, but there's a certain give and take in this industry. That's One Track Mind, part of the Someone's Favorite Productions family, and available wherever you get your podcasts.
Characters are introducing you to the universe, and you get this special sort of like character and universe building that you just don't get out of every movie after that first movie, because you already know everybody. You already know where everything is set. You understand the mechanics of the universe at that point, and where do you go from there? So in that sense, I don't know. I've been going back and forth between whether or not I like the first movie better than Volume 2. Volume 2 feels like the Guardians of the Galaxy really like settled into its groove. Like, this is how these characters are interacting with each other. This is how this universe works. Everything just felt right and normal and solid and good. Without having to force anything. All the characters' interactions with each other and in the universe were really believable. I like the whole setup that they had with Yondu and the other Ravagers, including, semi-spoilers, Stallone's character later in the movie. But I don't know. There was something about this movie that was missing for me. Like it just felt like maybe the story and the arc that they were going for in this movie was just like a little bit lackluster in comparison to the first movie. Even though Matt was right, the villain in the first movie is kind of this cookie cutter, like, who cares? He's just a guy. He's just a bad guy, and they just stop him, and it's no big deal. The villain in this movie is much closer to home, and it's more emotionally tied to the story and to, the main characters and everything. But it's still like, it just didn't quite, it didn't quite do it for me for some reason. And I'm having a hard time pinpointing exactly why it didn't work for me. But I don't want this to sound like I'm shitting on the movie. I had a great time watching this movie. It was fantastic. It was fun. It was hilarious. I was laughing the whole time. I would definitely watch this movie again. There's just, there was just a little something to be left, a little something that I wanted more, a little, I don't know. What about you?
I'm right there with you. Like you guys have been saying, and like I kind of said before I asked y'all what you thought, the first Guardians of the Galaxy film really was the first Marvel film that I really liked. I kind of had fallen out of terms with Marvel post Iron Man because, let's be honest here, Iron Man 2 is not good. Thor and Captain America aren't great either. Their origins.
I don't know. I like Thor and Captain America.
I mean, they're origin stories. So they weren't really given a whole lot of birth to tell interesting stories. I mean, look at Captain America versus Captain America Winter Soldier. I mean, the quality of the films is night and day.
Well, it's like a pilot episode for a show.
Yeah.
If you're going to introduce characters, there's a lot of heavy lifting to do. But in the second one, you get that freedom to move.
Right. So Thor and Captain America, they did their job, but I wouldn't say that they're like amazing films. They're decent, but unfortunately they kind of left me disillusioned with Marvel to the point where I was just like, I have no interest in watching them. But when Guardians of the Galaxy came out, I was like, man, this is something new. This is something different. This is something exciting. This is an unconventional comic book film from a company that has been making pretty much just conventional comic book movies. So when Guardians of the Galaxy came out, I mean, I loved it. I've only actually seen it once because I kind of want to keep it in my mind as this film that has like very little to no problems, and I should probably go back and rewatch it. But coming to the sequel, it's good, but it's not great. If Guardians of the Galaxy 1 is great, this one is only good. There are some choices that they made in regards to some of the characters that felt kind of contrived and a little bit of, I don't know, like they wasted some of the actors that are in the film a little bit. And and I'm not talking about Stallone. And the best part of this film is not Chris Pratt for me. The best part of this film is Michael Rooker, without a doubt. I'm a little tired of Chris Pratt's shtick because Chris Pratt is kind of always just playing himself at this point, but he's not annoying and dickish like, say, James Franco is when he's essentially just always playing himself in every movie that he's in, because James Franco always just acts disinterested. At least Chris Pratt seems like he's having fun and he likes being where he is. So there's a huge plus there, but for me, this is diminishing returns a little bit. And yeah, Ronan was a cookie cutter villain, but he was in a better movie. This movie is not as good as the first one. And I mean, people can argue the other way that this movie is better than the second one, like obviously Matt, you have. But I think for me, the problems with this movie are much bigger than the problems I have with the first film.
Okay, well, should we get into spoilers now? Do you want to start talking about your problems with the second movie?
I think that there's no way to get around the spoilers with what my problems are. And I know Eric and I had this conversation last night when we were talking.
God, you remember that conversation?
I wasn't that drunk. That was before I got too drunk to function. So this is spoilers. If you haven't seen the film yet, come back after you've seen it, or pause it now and watch the film and then listen to this. My biggest problem with this film is what the fuck were they doing having Kurt Russell in this film as the villain? It's such a waste. It's such a waste.
Nope.
It was such a waste.
Nope.
Yes.
Why is he a waste? Why is it a waste?
You have Kurt Russell.
Bearing in mind that Ego is in every way an unkillable character, but go ahead.
Okay. I mean, you're right. It's so goofy to have Kurt Russell in a film where he's playing Chris Pratt's dad, and they squander him as a one-off film villain. And I've been seeing these things that are like,
this is not a one-off
they're gonna explore its far-reaching effect on his character. I mean, maybe, but for me, it's just, you have Kurt Russell in a role where they're subverting your expectations because Ego in the comic books is not Peter Quill's dad. So they're already doing something different. They're already doing something unique and exciting and new. So just having him be the villain and having him have this cookie cutter villain plot. I'm going to take over the universe. Like, that's so goddamn cookie cutter. That's no different than Ronan. That's no different than Ronan.
Here's the thing. Ronan is a guy who wakes up in a pool of blood and just wants to murder everything. The first scene he has, there's no arc there. Ronan gets a little bit grumpy at Thanos, then gets an Infinity Stone and becomes really grumpy at Thanos. Like, that's his arc. It's terrible. It's boring. It's not interesting at all. Ego, the entire second act, when you can feel in the pit of your stomach that something's not right and that this is going to go badly for this beautiful father and son relationship that is developing on screen, and you realize that in the same way that Chris Pratt doesn't want his dad to be evil, you don't want that. And then you find out the thing he wants is so brutal, and the way in which he's gotten to the place that he could achieve the thing he wants has been a kind of mass murder that is all completely unfathomable to any kind of sentient being with a lifespan. You realize that oh no, the experience of having someone as beloved as Kurt Russell be that evil, it's a move. I haven't seen casting done that brilliantly since Sergio Leone's Once Upon a Time in the West, when Fonda, who had just played Abraham Lincoln in his previous film, shows up on screen wearing all black and murders a child in his first scene. That shattered the American psyche. It was such a big thing. And so you can, from the moment where you first see Kurt Russell in his 80s glory, you love this man, and you love that awesome. He loved, which was beautiful and well done, and apparently was mostly makeup.
Yeah, it was not CGI. Which, again, by the way,
it was like CGI touch-ups,
right?
But the makeup apparently.
But it
was most
looked
of it.
good, man.
You don't have to make digital Michael Douglas. You can just do it with makeup, theoretically.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the fact that they managed to cast someone who is immediately as charming and lovable as Chris Pratt. And because this is not a one-film character. This character was in the previous film. He was spoken of. He loomed large. He was a huge part of film number one. The fact that he's cast in film number two makes him intrinsically more valuable, more important than any character any one-film villain we've ever seen. And the fact that we start with Star-Lord's mom and dad alive and in love puts us in exactly the place that Quill would be, thinking that that's exactly how his parents were. And the fact that in that third act, when you can't get around the fact that this character has made the turn to a villain.
Hello, my name is Kevin Tudor, and I'm one of the 3 hosts of Almost Major, a film podcast dissecting many major indie studios and the films they release. Every week, myself, Charlie Nash, and Bryden Doyle discuss overlooked, forgotten, or bona fide classic indie films via studio-specific miniseries. We've previously covered numerous films from Artisan Entertainment, Lionsgate Films, and New Line Cinema. Titles including The Blair Witch Project, American Psycho, Dogville, But I'm a Cheerleader, Saw, Requiem for a Dream, and Ringmaster, you know, the Jerry Springer film. Anyways, we have a fun time every week, and we hope you will join us. Subscribe to Almost Major wherever you get your podcasts. Now proudly a part of the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.
You so badly want it to not be true. It does a beautiful job. This is one of the greatest villains in the history of Marvel films, and easily the best villain in the second film that any Marvel character has had.
Yeah, but that's not hard. I mean, that's really not hard though. That's a low bar to
It's
clear.
also the only good second film that any Marvel character had if they had also had a good first film. Because like you said, the first Cap and the first Thor movies were lackluster. The second one of each are amazing. Iron Man had the best first film. But the second one, like, nobody has had a good sequel if they had a good first film. They've had nowhere to go but down, and this is the first time it's gone up.
Yeah, I mean, my whole problem with having Kurt Russell as Ego and having the character of Ego and that being like the main story arc of this movie is that if he is such the major villain and major key point to the Guardians of the Galaxy and Marvel lore that you're claiming that he is, then why does he only get one movie and then he is snuffed out and that's it? And he's not going to be in another one.
Agreed.
Unless I'm wrong and he gets to somehow magically come back, which I think is going to be like, oh God, they're just going to bring him back. They're going to come up with some plot point like it wasn't his only planet. He had another planet. So,
well, I mean, in the comics, Ego always reforms himself. But the fact that a character only gets one movie to be the villain of doesn't make it a bad movie. Doesn't make him a bad villain.
No, but it feels
like,
it feels like it feels kind of like
excellent work in one movie.
It's not a waste. It feels kind of like a waste.
Starring in one movie doesn't make you a waste. Grand Moff Tarkin was not wasted because he was only in one movie. He was Grand Moff Tarkin.
Well,
and he was incredible.
Sir, he died. He was also in 2 movies, sir. He was in 2 movies.
Right, but he didn't.
Through the magic of horrifying CGI, he's been in 2 movies now.
He didn't die before He didn't die before Empire. He didn't die before the next movie. He was killed in the only movie he was in.
Yeah.
And that he's a frigging legend. He's an incredible character. Grand Moff Tarkin has had scores of books written about him because he's that awesome. But leaving people wanting more is not a bad thing. But leaving people wanting more is not a bad thing in film.
He's not Darth Vader.
Fine.
Kurt
Everybody
Russell
can't be
is Darth Vader in this movie.
Yeah, Kurt Russell is supposed to be Darth Vader in this movie.
He's Darth Vader in this movie. He's just the reverse Darth Vader, you know? He's like oh, Dad, you're great, but oh, shit, you're Darth Vader. Not, oh, you're Darth Vader. Oh, shit, you're Dad, you know?
You need to rewatch A New Hope because the villain in that movie is Grand Moff Tarkin. His sidekick, his dog, is Darth Vader. He just happens to survive.
Yeah, but Darth Vader's the one who everybody remembers, and Grand Moff Tarkin is the guy that everybody's like, oh, it's that fucking evil Nazi-looking like admiral guy.
Which is why Darth Vader had Boba Fett in the second movie, because you needed to make another really awesome character. Because your primary villain doesn't necessarily become the legendary villain just because he's your primary villain. The first Star Wars movie is a great example. The primary antagonist is Grand Moff Tarkin.
I think the issue. I think the issue that I have with the Kurt Russell villain thing is kind of it's a Marvel problem that they have had, and I feel like the way that they set up the MCU fueled this. Is there was nothing ever to say that they couldn't have villains continue over from one film to the next.
Loki.
They did it with Loki, right? And that's kind of it. I mean, Red Skull gone. A lot of okay, so they might bring Red Skull back.
Red Skull, Ronan, and Malekith have all been absorbed into Infinity Stones. So
okay, but for all intents and purposes, those characters aren't coming back.
I mean, in the comic books, the number of times all of those characters have died.
Right, but in the movie universe, there's a tad bit more feeling of, I don't know, finality to it because it's more about the actors. In the comic books, that's what makes the comic books so great. Is you can have all sorts of wacky shit happen in the comic books, and it costs $0.
When Bucky died, he never came back, and then when Cap was on a suicide crash, he didn't come back from that, and then when Thor saw Loki die, he didn't come back from that.
I'm talking about the main character. The main characters
have come back from the dead
Captain America is going to come back
and in comic book movies so many times.
But what I'm saying is, in the villains in these films, there is a feeling of finality when the villains die because they haven't come back. They haven't. Red Skull hasn't come back, and I don't think he's going to.
Honestly, I would have preferred if this movie would have had the, albeit kind of cheesy, but I think for me more satisfying ending of Dad doesn't die, or Chris Pratt can't kill Dad even though Dad is super evil because he is Dad, and therefore you have this God that is out there somewhere that might come back and might cause more problems because Chris Pratt couldn't kill him, type of situation. To have it be, this movie felt like a very open and closed book. Like from the beginning of the movie, you have the whole thing with Kurt Russell and, Quill's mom. And then you go through the whole arc of learning about, how Quill's dad, is this demigod and he's, all of this shit. And then the ugly truth of it comes out. And then from that point on, it's just like fight. You may be my dad, but you're not my real family. I'm going to kill you. Boom. Done. End of movie.
And since 2014, we've been scratching our heads wondering about how the book closes. And this film closes the book. The first movie opened the book of who your father was. From the first scene, he's a being composed of pure light, to the last scene, your body is something. It has something we've never seen before. It was a mystery set up in the first one that was closed in the second one. This was not a single movie arc, guys. This was a 2-movie arc, and because the storyteller wanted it that way.
Oh, I mean, okay. I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Yeah, it's a valid reason. James Gunn got to the end of that story because you know what? Chris Pratt's character doesn't need to be the main one. We've got a really fascinating story about daughters and a father that I'm much more interested in. I want to see what happens with Gamora, Nebula, and Thanos. That is going to be cool. I'm done with Star Wars.
Like, I don't think that Nebula is going to be the one to kill Thanos. I hate to break it to you.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's going to happen.
Everyone's expecting Drax because he was in the comic books designed to kill Thanos. And then there are people who are expecting Adam to do it, but he's not going to be in Infinity War, so maybe he'll be in the next Avengers 4. But, there are a lot of questions about who's going to do it. I hope it's Gamora and Nebula.
I feel like that the storyline between the two sisters, if she doesn't kill Thanos, there will have been like very little payoff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? Okay, so we're in agreement on that. Okay. I don't think that they're going to give her the chance to kill Thanos. I think she might die trying to kill Thanos. Because let's not forget here, Nebula's character wasn't even supposed to survive the first film. James Gunn has said that the character of Nebula wasn't even supposed to survive the first film. So that in and of itself, that this second film has such a big kind of, fingerprint of those two characters interacting and it being done as well as it was, it's pretty surprising considering how that character wasn't even supposed to survive the first film.
Well, yeah, the first time you write a film is, with a word processor, but the second time you write it is on set. And on set, you realize what actors are playing which characters and which characters are coming to life and which characters are interacting in a way you had never imagined. And then you change it on the day. And so the idea that James Gunn made a decision in the first Guardians film that will affect Avengers 4 is not even a little bit hard to wrap my head around.
For me, Guardians, I liked it. It was a good film, but like you said at the beginning, you can never go back and have that first experience over again. You can't. That's the way it goes.
I'd recommend that you try watching that first one again now that you've seen Guardians 2 and are holding it up against a movie that you haven't seen in 3 years. I think it would be interesting because I had that same experience. I haven't seen Guardians for years. I watched it probably 2 or 3 times when it came out in theaters, but I hadn't watched it again, and I watched it the day after I saw Guardians 2, and it really cemented for me that this second film is in every way a better film, more sophisticated, more mature, more intelligent, and it has pilotitis over. We don't have to be introduced to these characters. We get to watch them play.
There's also some stuff in this film that I do remember from the first film enjoying, and then in this film they kind of...
Hello, this is Aaron West. I am the author of the A24 New Wave. In this book, I look at A24's output and I make the argument that we are in a new wave movement right now. A24 plays a major role. This book has a supplemental podcast where each episode is a brief conversation about an A24 related topic, whether an actor, director, or even a genre. As I continue research for the book and conduct interviews, I expect to record podcast episodes with people involved with the company. You can find the podcast at cinejourneys.com or wherever you find podcasts, and we are proud to be members of the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.
And we're just like, oh, you like this in the first film? Let's do this let's do this tenfold. Like, I like the character of Drax, but like everything that Drax says doesn't need to be a joke.
Yeah.
What do you mean? It's a guy who is trying to learn to communicate with this new group of people.
But
I think it's a really cool move for that character.
What I'm saying is, though, like, they kind of went a little overboard in this film with it. Just a little. Not a lot, just a little.
Yeah, I liked his overcompensation. I thought it was Drax's overcompensation, not James Gunn's.
Yeah, no. That's
and I didn't think it was I don't think it was Drax. I don't think it was Bautista's either. I think it was Drax's overcompensation of learning this new step. It's like when Data in First Contact is still playing with his emotion chip. You're like, oh yeah, you just got this in the previous movie. How neat. And in this movie, you're playing with it some more. And watching that growth from having no idea what to do to really honestly giving it effort is, I don't know. I thought it was endearing. I liked it.
But I mean, for me though, the best part of this film is Michael Rooker as Yondu. He was great. Completely stole the film for me.
Yeah. I honestly, that like sort of subplot of the movie, the whole Yondu and the other Ravagers and Yondu's relationship with Quill and everything, that was the best part of the movie for me. That's way better than any of the Kurt Russell stuff in my mind. Mm-hmm. I honestly would have liked to have seen more of that. And
it seems like that's what Guardians 4 do. Yeah. It seems like Guardians 4 is going to be about the original lineup a little bit more, because Yondu's character is one of the original Guardians of the Galaxy.
In the comics.
So is in the comics, yeah. And so is Stackar, the character that Stallone plays. And really that whole collection of people at the end who have that funny little scene together.
But what about the character that Miley Cyrus plays, Matt?
Yeah, she was. I know. Yeah, that's one of the originals too. That was pretty fun.
Fucking insane.
Wait,
great, man.
What? How did I miss this? How did I miss Miley Cyrus in the movie?
Mainframe, the little robot.
That funny little head.
Yeah, that's Miley Cyrus.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck me, really?
Yeah.
Well, and Smallville's Lex Luthor is the guy who plays, I can't remember his name now, but the guy who kind of has a diamond face, who looks like Iceman kind of. Yeah, that's Rosenbaum from Smallville. So it's pretty cool to see all of these actors. I mean, Michelle Yeoh is awesome in everything.
Fucking Ving Rhames? Jesus Christ.
Ving Rhames, dude. That was awesome.
So cool. And, James Gunn has already said that this lineup is their last movie is going to be Guardians 3. So we'll see the lineup change. I don't know if it's because we'll see people die or we'll see people just move on with their lives. But changing the lineup of the Guardians is in the cards. So hopefully we'll get to see like a cool Expendables version of Guardians 4.
I would love to see more of Ving Rhames, Stallone, and all those characters in the Marvel Universe doing things in the Marvel Universe. Because honestly, for me, that's a much more exciting prospect than even like seeing more of Star-Lord and Groot. Like, man, I just want to see Stallone and Ving Rhames and a Miley Cyrus talking head do crazy shit, because that sounds insane.
Yeah.
So if
always leave them wanting more, and this movie absolutely does that.
So if this movie, or if this lineup of you have Quill and Gamora and Groot and Rocket and Drax, if they only have one more Guardians movie together as that lineup, then I like this second movie even less, because it feels like a waste. If you're going to have 3 movies and you waste an entire second movie on daddy issues, I like that movie even less.
The whole first movie was about mommy issues.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like,
it didn't feel that way.
The theme of this
felt like it.
The theme of this series is family. And so if you didn't particularly like the theme of family, chances are you're not going to dig the last one in the series either. But I think the first movie gave us that world building that camouflaged the themes a little bit.
It did, yeah.
It was like, this character who's upset about his father, his grandfather, and his great grandfather being subjugated by Xandarian law is one pissed off bad guy. And it's like every character in this, even John C. Reilly's character, every character in the first film reinforced that this is about family. And this film was about Peter Quill having to choose between his blood and the people who have been family to him without being related, whether it was Yondu or Gamora or Drax and Rocket. It was, or raising baby Groot. Like, everything about this film was about family. Just like the first one, just in a different way. We Are Groot means we are family. Yeah. And that's what these movies are about. This movie just showed us a step further, more of the maturity, and it gave us the promise that the first one was telling us, don't worry, we'll deliver on. We're going to deliver on what Star-Lord is. And when you see him playing catch with his dad, and this is as a guy, I wasn't raised with my dad very much. And I watched that scene thinking, shit, man, imagine if I just found out one day that my dad was this guy. and that this cool cat can tell me that I can build anything out of anything. Of course, this is a siren song. This is such a beautiful distraction from something so insidious. And feeling that percolate, feeling that move forward, and realizing that this man is going to have to choose between his actual dad and the people who love him. It's brutal to watch that disillusion shatter. And I just think this movie managed to handle such beautiful themes so elegantly and in such a subversive way that it didn't feel like a 3-act structure, because there was a cool B story happening with Rocket and Yondu and Baby Groot and all that neat stuff was happening. It was a cool B story, but the story of we're losing Peter, to me, was just such a beautiful one because of what they were losing him to, and how beautiful that scene when he and Ego are hanging out talking about Brandy, that song, about how Peter, you and I were the sailor in that song, and like everything about that was just so romantic and alluring. And of course Peter's going to want to go that way. And the idea that in 2017 the Guardians of the Galaxy destroy something called Ego, that is exactly what we need in the world right now. And it was beautiful in so many poetic ways, not the least of which is structure.
Yeah.
For me, though, and I think I echo Eric here, the Star-Lord Ego storyline for me was not the best part of the film. And so, like...
What was the best part of the film?
Anything going on with the Ravagers and Rocket.
That was pretty cool.
Like, for me, as like the problems that I had with the Kurt Russell casting and the character of Ego, and we've kind of already touched on that, it just kind of, it made me want to see some of the other interesting stuff. And because of how much I liked Yondu in the film and his interplay with Rocket and Groot, it was just better. I liked it.
Yeah, it was a beautiful part of the film. I mean, the fact that, Stackar Ogord is a character that is virtually immortal and has had his consciousness thrown back in time so many times that he's essentially never not lived. So the character that Stallone is playing is far older than Yondu. And so the idea that Yondu had done something to offend the man that probably raised him, that was his Yondu. If he was Star-Lord, Stackar was his Yondu. And the idea that this man had disgraced his adoptive father, basically, was another amazing, beautiful part of the family story that was going on in this. And I can totally see how that element of things, watching Yondu wrestle with the choices he had made and ultimately redeeming himself, was an absolutely gorgeous part of this movie. And I loved that Rocket and Groot and Yondu had their own adventure, because what was happening on Ego was a whole other way of approaching those same themes. And I think they worked really well together. I loved when we cut away from the 70 leaps and everyone was like screaming with their faces being bent and twisted. And then we spent like 15 minutes on Ego, and then we cut back to it and they're still screaming and they're still in those 70 leaps being warped. Like the interplay between the A story and the B story, I thought was just beautiful and funny.
Yeah.
And you got to give credit to Sean Gunn, who actually, kills it. Not just in the movie because his brother is the director.
Well, that's probably why he has a job, but he was great.
Well, I mean, he was also in Gilmore Girls, so let's not forget, for like 7 years. So he is an actor outside of that.
He's an actor, yeah.
That's true. But it looks like he's going to be part of the Guardians moving forward.
Yeah.
Which is kind of neat. I mean,
I'm down. I'm down.
Yeah.
Why not?
I don't love his character, but I certainly... I'm not opposed. Mantis is fun, and so is he.
I think Mantis. Yeah, I don't know. Mantis is an interesting character that, because of how much was focused on Ego, we didn't really get to see the whole character.
Yeah, I mean, I'm rewatching the movie on Tuesday, and I'm really looking forward to following Mantis, knowing what she knows, because I mean, she theoretically isn't really privy to the plan, but she feels whatever it is Ego is feeling. And when you're going to, murder everything in order to fulfill your destiny, there's got to be some kind of strange emotional echo. Because Celestials don't sleep. And the idea that Ego wants to sleep is a really interesting thing that I'm looking forward to exploring on a second viewing. The idea that this guy just needs to rest because something that he's doing is so taxing. And, you know, fucking everybody is probably pretty tiring. Seems like he's just been wooing and killing for eons. Yeah, that takes it out of a guy.
He's got the dirtiest dick in the galaxy.
Am I the only one, though, who kind of felt that when he was like, and then I put the tumor in your mom's brain, I was like, okay. Like,
yeah, that
was beautiful.
No,
oh my God, I love
he's
that.
Already a bad guy. Like, what? Come on.
No.
Yeah.
He had already just said that when you look at your friends like this, they're temporary. These people come and go. You have to start looking at the world the way I do, with impermanent things being irrelevant. Permanent things are what matter. And the fact that he tosses that line out there, you know, it killed me putting that tumor in your mom's brain, is so perfect for that character, because that's a character who realizes that thing was going to die in 30 more years. Who cares? If I killed it 30 years earlier, that's not relevant to me. And it also shows that he's not like you, Peter. And I think that moment is so important on so many levels. It was gorgeous when he said that, because watching what happened to Peter after that, no hesitation, just as far as he can tell, murders the man. And I thought that was such a gorgeous moment. So well played by Russell and so well written. I just love that moment.
I don't know. For me, it felt cheap. I'm assuming Eric felt cheap.
Oh yeah, it totally felt cheap to me. Like, not in like I don't know. It just felt like cheesy. Just like, it just felt like it was like one of those things that like I knew 10 seconds before it was coming that it was coming, you know. And when it came, I was like, man, that's rough. But like, I totally fucking called that. Like, I don't know. You could have presented it in a better way. The concept of what Ego did to get to the point that he was at in the movie is horrifying and amazing and awesome. And I mean, it's horrible, but it's an amazing backstory for like an amazing villain. And that's kind of why I almost felt like all of this stuff was rushed to get it all into one movie. And that's, I think, what makes it feel a little cheap to me, is that I almost wish they would have do more with, you know, the Ravagers in the movie, and extend this movie out a little bit longer and introduce maybe, you know, Kurt Russell's character towards the end of the movie and have it spill over into Guardians 3, so that you have a longer, like more drawn out, you know, thing where you're like, oh, cool, he gets to meet his dad, and it's like ends on some like uplifting, like, oh, we're going to go to my dad's planet. This is cool. And then in the third movie, the hammer drops and everything goes to shit. I would have almost preferred a format like that, because I feel like this movie, the whole sort of like finding out about his dad and then finding out his dad's a horrible, you know, celestial, you know, just piece of shit, all happens too quickly, I feel like.
Well, and I mean, that's what they're doing with the Elizabeth Debicki Aisha character, is they're essentially doing that. They're putting her in the her in the third film.
Yeah,
right, and I wish they would have done
Adam Warlock. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. You got to have a story. I mean, you're talking about a cool underlying thing, but the story for this film was, hey, here's a guy. It's going to be the opposite kind of villain as the last movie. And you know, if they and there's a reason that the first thing they do is murder the scariest thing you see in the trailer in this movie. You know, the scariest thing in the trailer is the interdimensional yellow-blooded demon thing. And they just wipe it out in the most beautiful musical action sequence really since the first Guardians movie. And
oh my God, it's great.
It was so fun, and I can't wait to go back and watch it again, because I couldn't take my eyes off Groot the first time, even though there was such amazing action happening in the background. So the second time, I'm really looking forward to watching it again and trying to stay with the background this time. But I feel like you're right. They could have made this last longer, but I liked getting Peter Quill's dad's answers taken care of in this movie. It was great. I thought it really worked, and I feel like we don't need Ego in the next movie. We need Adam Warlock. we need her. We need Aisha. We need him and her to do what him and her do. They're the two most important creatures for good in the galaxy. And so Adam and Aisha being set up in this film are way more important to the overarching larger story, which isn't about Peter Quill. We explained him. Great. Moving on. This is about the galaxy. This is about the Infinity Stones. This is about fighting for our universe as we know it. And I feel like, yeah, Peter has a neat parentage, and we figured that out inside of 2 movies. Rarely does a character's parentage get 2 whole movies to discuss. Yeah. I mean, even for Tony Stark, he doesn't really talk about who his dad is and who his mom are. You know, they show up, and then in Civil War we find out something cool about how they died. But you know, it wasn't necessary to the thrust of the background, the larger story that's happening in Guardians of the Galaxy and in the Marvel Cinematic Universe in general. It doesn't really involve those people's parentage. What it involves is Adam Warlock stopping Thanos. And so, yeah, Aisha and the Sovereign having this cool, we'll set them up, we'll use them, we'll keep them for the next one. That is what matters to the stories that are being told, the big stories that the MCU is telling.
But Ego was a one-movie villain. Adam Warlock is not going to have anything to do with Thanos. Because the 3rd movie takes place after the Infinity Wars films.
Yeah, that's fine.
So Thanos will theoretically.
You think at the end of Infinity War Thanos will be dispatched?
If Marvel does what Marvel does, yeah, he will.
Okay. Don't you? Let's mark that on the calendar. Because no, I don't.
You really think that Thanos is going to?
Well, we've seen Thanos all of one time so far.
You think that Thanos is not? You think that Thanos is going to survive after the 2 movies?
He's going to survive after Infinity War.
I'm talking. No.
Whether he makes it through Avengers 4.
Guardians of the Galaxy 3 comes out after all of those, both of them. Guardians of the Galaxy 3 comes out after. I mean, they're not going to have Thanos die to Adam Warlock in Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
Here's the thing about Marvel's release schedule more than 2 years in advance. It changes a lot within 2 years. When they got Spider-Man, all of a sudden Captain Marvel was no longer coming out before the first Infinity Wars movie, and it changed everything.
You think they're going to push it back from 2018, 2019 farther than that?
Well, look what they did as soon as they decided to announce Ant-Man and the Wasp. Everything got pushed back by 4 months. So between the number of sequels that have come out and the announcement that, hey guys, we got Spider-Man, they've pushed movies back by a year or more. So I'm not totally convinced that movies that they're saying are coming out in 2019 and 2020 are going to come out in that order or at that time. So the ball's still very much up in the air from a story point of view.
I don't think that we're going to see another Guardians of the Galaxy in the Phase 3 of the Marvel Universe. That just doesn't.
Phase 3, no. I think, so then that's Phase 3. Phase 3 ends, but Phase 3 ends with Avengers 3.
Right.
And it all gets. It kind of stops being phases after that.
It stops with Avengers 4, right?
I don't know.
It's a two-part film, isn't it?
No, it was.
Hello and welcome to Tumbleweeds and TV Cowboys. My name is Hunter. In this podcast, I'll be joined by a different guest each week to discuss a classic Western movie or TV show. I've been a fan of classic Westerns for as long as I can remember, and in recent years, they've become very nostalgic for me. I love the aesthetic, the tropes, and I love seeing different filmmakers' takes on them. At their best, they're incredibly entertaining, rewatchable, and some of my all-time favorite movies are Westerns. We'll mostly focus on Western movies made in Hollywood, but we'll also be covering spaghetti Westerns, and one thing I'm very excited to get into are Western TV shows. I've got some amazing guests coming on the show, film professors, historians, and podcasters. And Tumbleweeds and TV Cowboys is part of the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network, and many guests on the show will be from other shows on the network. Thanks for listening.
It was, and now it's not. It's something else entirely. That's what I'm saying. There was a time when they were going to shoot Avengers 3 and 4 back-to-back as one movie. The Russo brothers have stopped that. They changed it. They're doing something completely different now. So what we've been told has changed, and it'll be interesting to see what it becomes. But yeah, I'm not writing off Thanos as a one-movie villain. I'm also kind of expecting the Black Order to spend a lot of time being the major part of Avengers 3, and I expect Avengers 4 to be the Infinity Gauntlet story.
Yeah,
because
they've said that if they told you what the title of the fourth Avengers movie was, it would be a huge spoiler. Because so it's an Infinity Gauntlet. Of course it is. No shit. Like I don't. If you know even anything mildly about the comic books, you know where this is going. I mean, they've made it pretty clear where this is going from the first.
So movie. Of course, Thanos is gonna make it. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, to the fourth one, but I don't think that Adam Warlock is going to factor into him dying.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think Adam Warlock is a character being set up, probably not future locked in, but he's going to fight the Guardians of the Galaxy because that's what they're setting him up as the I don't know, the vehicle for which Aisha takes her revenge on the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think whoever kills Thanos is already a character that we know is in the movies. I'm
hoping. Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be someone that hasn't been introduced yet because I think it has to be a character that's already been introduced because that's how this payoff has to work.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, like, no one's really going to give a shit if it's a character that's been in 2 movies and there's like, oh, he killed Thanos. Cool. It's got to be someone that we've like seen and have had like a background with. So.
Yep. I'm hoping that whatever we do with Adam Warlock, it has something to do with Thanos because really Adam Warlock, Thanos, Aisha, and Magus are all so connected that having 2 of them now and not the other 2, it's just a recipe for leading us down the path of what's happening next.
But let's not, I mean, again, like you even said, and like they've done clearly with Ego being Peter Quill's father, which that was not the case in the comics, they are doing very different stuff from the comics. Like they're using characters, but they're not using the characters in the way that we would expect.
Yeah, which is nice. I think you're right. Subverting those expectations has made for something that, as a comic book reader, I find really interesting. I've found this stuff so cool because I haven't been expecting a lot of these choices, and they've been fun choices. And
it's subverting expectations in a way that doesn't suck, a la DC. Let's just kill Jimmy Olsen because I can.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, they did it. DC, guys. It's
what a mess.
I mean, even that's the ultimate takeaway from these Marvel movies. Even if a Marvel movie is bad, it's still better than the best DC movie.
Yeah, that's true. I would rather watch The Incredible Hulk or Iron Man 2 than anything that's come out of the DC universe since Batman Begins.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Thinking about the Marvel universe as this like grand overarching multi-movie, several years down the road plan, I don't know. I don't know. As somebody who like has not read 90% of like all the comics that they are now making into movies, I know about these characters. I know of their existence, but I know next to nothing about 90% of them. You know, watching these movies and not understanding where it's going, but not knowing like ahead of time where all of this has already gone in the comic books.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Some of the choices that were made, specifically, I mean, getting back to Guardians 2, about like how they're setting up certain characters and killing off other characters in some of these movies are, I don't know. The choices are a little puzzling to me. Like knowing absolutely nothing about Thanos and the Guardians of the Galaxy universe except for their existence and what I've seen come out of the movies, it was a really interesting choice for me to have Aisha be the villain that lasts until the next movie and Ego be the one that has the one movie arc. And I think that's my takeaway from this movie, and that's just coming from a layman who knows next to nothing about the Marvel universe as a whole, except for I know the X-Men, but I really only know the X-Men from the TV show from the 90s and the movies. So yeah, I mean, I don't know.
But again,
maybe that's my problem.
But let's not forget, like we've been saying, they do subvert the expectations of the comic book readers so much that we're almost all kind of on even footing here.
So if everybody,
the idea that Hope Van Dyne is the Wasp is like, that was really cool at the end of Ant-Man, because the whole time we're expecting Janet to be to somehow come back. That if Janet's the Wasp, then that's the Wasp, and that's it. But the idea that that Ant-Man's daughter, who's also now other Ant-Man's girlfriend, gets to be the Wasp is I don't know. I'm sure, given the 50 years of storyline, that's happened before, but it surprised me. And so I thought that was really fun. The fact that Loki has survived as long as he has is great. The fact that Loki's mother didn't is also great, because the All-Mother is a crucial character for so many other stories that happen. But now Rene Russo's character's gone. So how does Jane foster Thor ever happen? Like, there are all kinds of really neat questions that are brought about by killing the characters that they've killed.
Jane Foster is gone, Matt. I don't think Natalie Portman is ever coming back. For a Thor.
No.
I think that they've made
what
that
happened
very
with
clear.
the director on Thor 2. Yeah. After what happened with the director on Thor 2, Natalie Portman was not amused. So hopefully what they're doing with Valkyrie will bring us to a female Thor. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, and let's be honest here, like, Natalie Portman's character, not great in any ways in those films. She wasn't, like, given a whole lot to do, so it's not like she'll be missed, if that makes sense.
I don't know. I mean, I didn't hate her in the first
one. She was underused.
Yeah,
she was underused in both of the movies, but, so was Liv Tyler. So was who played Agent Carter? Yeah, Liv Tyler was Betty Ross in Incredible Hulk.
Oh yeah,
that's how underused she was.
Oh yeah,
Hulk. I forgot about that movie entirely.
These underused white girlfriends of the overused white male hero trope are exhausting. So I'm very much looking forward to seeing some much more interesting characters happen in Black Panther, because it's just like, the only people of color in Guardians of the Galaxy were all painted green, or should have been green. And, characters like Mantis, who is in green in the comics. But it's interesting to see that of all the excitement that's coming out right now for the movies that are next on the list, so much of that excitement is going towards Spider-Man, where we get a child in the role, which is so different and fun, and Black Panther, where we get to see a whole other corner of the Marvel Universe. And I think that's going to be a really exciting, really fun trip. I expect Coogler to just kill it.
Again, Marvel is doing much more exciting, much more interesting stuff than DC. And I know people that have told me, like, all those Marvel movies, the tone is the same, and they're all jokey, and they're not serious, and the DC movies are serious. Like, I mean, not really, though, right?
Yeah, they're, like, serious in, like, a shitty downer way. And, like, the Marvel movies are fun because they're fun movies. They don't take themselves too seriously. They're not afraid to, like, hey, we know this shit's ridiculous. Let's fucking poke fun at it for a second. And then, like, get back to, like, the serious story. And
the false maturity and the false superiority that someone has when they say, well, those movies that are designed for 11-year-olds are beneath me, but the ones that are designed for 15-year-olds, those are sophisticated. And it's like, screw you.
Yeah. You
like your 15-year-old morose people who just learned sarcasm DC movies. Sure, that's hilarious. But, a movie that a child can enjoy does not necessarily make it bad because it's jokey and has moments of levity. The reason DC movies suck so much is because they don't understand the balance between tension and levity. There's a lot of tension in Guardians of the Galaxy, and there's a lot of levity. And the relationship between those two things is important in basic filmmaking. Yeah. And, this brutal, weak way that DC likes to just stick to one tone.
If you're looking for more horror outside of the mainstream, look no further than Unsung Horrors, a podcast about underseen horror movies. I'm Lance.
And I'm Erica. Every other week, we'll cover a horror movie with fewer than 1,000 views on Letterboxd. We'll even give you double feature recommendations to pair with the movies we discuss.
From gothic to shot on video, from slashers to comedies, from giallo to J-horror. We'll cover all the subgenres. So join us as we unearth these hidden gems of horror.
Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, all at Unsung Horrors, available wherever you listen to podcasts. And part of the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.
Likes to just try to make everything feel like it came out of the Nolan verse that did so well for Batman. it's not doing so well for Batman now. When you add Superman to a Batman movie, you literally lose money. It's not the right choice.
It's weird to me. I mean, I get it from like the superiority complex that people feel like they need to have when it comes to like, I like DC, I like Marvel, but I can't like both. I get it, but at the same time, like you got to understand here that, man, the DC movies, they get in their own way all the time. Like they're getting in their own way. Like you have some of the best villains in comic books are DC villains.
Yep.
Hands down. DC has better villains. Marvel has better superheroes by and far. Like just on its face. Yet all you do is get in your own goddamn way and just make these fucking movies where you stumble over your own fucking feet because all you want to do is be like, we're the mature choice for fucking comic book fans. Who gives a fucking shit? For real.
Yeah,
Who fucking cares?
I had way more fun at Guardians Volume 2 by myself in a movie theater, smuggling in a bunch of beers, cracking them open at really inopportune moments when it was really quiet and the lady next to me got really pissed off. But I was just like laughing and having a good time and watching this movie and having fun. And there was a bunch of kids in the movie theater, and I saw it at 11 o'clock at night. And I'm like, who the fuck is letting their kids out at 11 o'clock at night to go see a movie? But it's fucking Guardians of the Galaxy, man. It's a good time. Like, nobody's having a good time going to see fucking Batman versus Superman or Suicide Squad.
This movie
or
is
which looked like it was going to be a good time, which is unfortunate. These movies never look like they're going to be a good time.
Right? Like, didn't Guardians of the Galaxy 1, isn't that what Suicide Squad used as its template? Like, isn't
Pretty
it?
much.
From its ad campaigns, yeah.
Well, I mean, even in the film where it's
they got permission.
Even in the film where it's like, we're going to use all this music. Like, oh, fuck you. It's just like, let's just throw shit at the wall and see what sticks, as opposed to James Gunn actually like putting thought,
being creative
to the soundtrack and like actually working the soundtrack of the film into the plot of the movie.
Yeah.
Like if you had never seen the Charlie's Angels movie that had Brandy You're a Fine Girl in it, which is where I first heard that song the first time and fell in love with that song. Even though that movie's terrible, it's only good because Sam Rockwell is the villain in it. And you'd never heard that song before. Now you're going to know what that song is because of this fucking movie. And it's insane.
Yeah.
That's from a fucking like early 70s Jersey Shore sound shitty band. Like, they're not a good band. They were active for like 6 years. But now...
And you really get the impression watching that conversation that that Ego has about that song with his son.
You get the impression that that amount of thought goes into every song that James Gunn has chosen, whereas the word joke is in a Bee Gees song, so now it's in a trailer with the Joker in it. It's like, give me a friggin' break. You didn't think past what licensing agreements you could make on Suicide Squad. It's embarrassing. But when you look at Ragnarok, when you look at what they're doing with Thor 3, when finally Immigrant Song is in a Thor movie, I have wanted for so long. Like, the delivery in that film of the very overt and admitted desire to have the Guardians of the Galaxy tone in a Thor movie, it works. It's great. Thor movies had a lot of room for improvement. The first one and the second one are kind of the same. You know, there's not much about the second one that is a revolutionary change over the first one. But it looks like they're getting the tone right in 3. They're adding ingredients that Thor very much needs. He's fun in a group, and so's the Hulk. And I think they're really about to get this right.
Yeah, Thor is a shitty character by himself in these movies. Like, he's not exciting. That's what made the first and second Thor movies kind of so flat. Was, man.
Yeah, if you watch Batman Brave and the Bold, there's a really great interaction that Aquaman has with any character he encounters, because he's this bombastic, ridiculous royalty on Earth amongst humans, and it's hilarious to watch that interaction. And the thing that Thor gets right every now and again is his giant Norse bombast. When he's in a New Mexico diner and smashes a cup on the ground yelling, "I'll have another," those are the fun moments that it really looks like Ragnarok is just, that's right in its DNA. And it's got the right director for the job. Yeah,
because
absolutely.
At his core, Thor is a big fucking dum-dum. He's a big bro. Like, he's a bro. He's the bro of the Avengers group. You got the smart guy, you got the other smart guy, and you got Captain America, the fucking do-gooder, goody two-shoes, and then you have Thor, who's just like, crash a beer can against my fucking skull.
It's hilarious.
Yeah, but it's awesome because when he interacts with other characters, you're just like, man, he's a dum-dum, but he's your dum-dum. He's like your dum-dum friend. Like, everyone has a friend like that who's like a big dumb jock. He's like the friend.
Yeah. He's like the friend that you want to hang out with, even though you're probably not going to have an intellectual conversation. You're going to have a good fucking time.
I mean, it shows it in that trailer where he's like, he's my friend from work. I know that guy. Like, oh God, you're such a dum-dum.
But and yet the joy is infectious. Yeah, that's the great thing about Thor.
Oh yeah, he's like the golden retriever of the Avengers.
100%.
He's like oh my God, you're the fucking cutest, coolest fucking thing I've ever seen.
And they totally turded it up in that second Thor movie. The second Thor movie was so flat with his character.
It wasn't great.
I mean, any time where he and Loki got to play together, it was delightful. But there wasn't enough of that. That was not enough to make the whole film work.
Because again, Loki knows that Thor is a big dum-dum. So, like, they get to interact with each other.
So he just fucks with them.
And I know that people are pissed that they're taking the Planet Hulk storyline and they're giving it to Thor. Like, I get that. And frankly, that does kind of suck.
You know what? I would way rather get to see a Planet Hulk storyline now, because there is no Illuminati. You don't have Professor X. You don't have Mr. Fantastic. You don't have the people you need to tell that story right. So I'd way rather they use it now and do a Thor movie instead of wait until Universal one day gives the distribution rights back for Hulk movies. This is a great idea. I think it's fantastic. And if Beta Ray Bill isn't in this movie, I'll be disappointed. But, otherwise, I think it's a winner.
Just from like how big that storyline was in the comic book Marvel universe, I understand people who really love that storyline and how big of a deal it was. I understand them being disappointed. But at the same time, like,
Gladiator.
Hulk is
not
a marketable fucking character. He's not.
No.
It's been shown for like years now that he's not. He's not at all.
Yeah. In a comic book, it feels very original to do the Gladiator story. But that movie exists, which means watching a movie where Hulk, a CGI character, tries to act like Russell Crowe and basically do exactly the same story. Nobody's interested in seeing that movie. Go read the comic. Awesome. That doesn't exist as a movie.
So what you're saying is Gladiator, the movie, stole its premise and its characters from the
other
Hulk.
way around.
From Greg Pak's head that was going to invent it in 7 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, Greg Pak basically ripped it off. But it was cool, man. There's nothing wrong with appropriating a story from one medium and putting it into another with different characters to give it a different meaning. That's cool.
That's art.
That's the idea of reappropriating it back into a movie. No one needs to see the Russell Crowe green. I can just adjust the color on my TV, and I can pretend like I'm watching that movie. Nobody needs that to be its own movie.
We can't take it away from Russell Crowe too. He only has like 3 good movies. Like we have to leave him with one.
You can't just make a better version of Gladiator. That would just have nothing left.
It also gives them a reason, a actual storyline, plotline reason why the 2 most powerful characters weren't around for Civil War.
Yeah, because in the comic books, there's a perfectly good reason why neither of them are around. But in the movies, there wasn't. So we need it.
Doesn't feel contrived.
No, it makes good sense. I'm looking forward to hearing how the Game Master managed to actually, or the Grandmaster managed to bring Hulk from Tahiti or wherever he crash landed his Quinjet. I'm looking forward to hearing what happened there. But there's good questions that date back to movies from 2 years before it. It's going to be cool.
And again, if you hadn't seen Taika Waititi's first film, his first big film, his first like breakout film, What We Do in the Shadows, the humor in Thor, I think Thor may, hopefully, fingers crossed, it may be the new best Marvel film. It could.
It's possible, man. This lineup of actors. It's like if you take a series of films that already has Rene Russo and Anthony Hopkins and Natalie Portman, like and Skarsgård, and like you've just got a crazy incredible cast already. I can see why when they've got around to making Thor 2, they were like, yeah, it's a pretty good cast. Let's just throw in that guy who played Doctor Who the best. Let's put him in there, and then we're all set. It's like, yeah, sure, that sounds like a pretty good cast. But ultimately, they're missing key ingredients, even though they have such a great cast. And I'm looking forward to seeing what happens when you throw Benedict Cumberbatch and you throw Jeff Goldblum and you throw Ruffalo. Like there are some and Blanchett. You want to talk about a villain who's going to last? I hope beyond hope that her Hela lasts. Because how cool. I love that character already, and I've seen her for all of 7 seconds.
Yeah. I honestly, I didn't know it was Cate Blanchett until I saw the trailer like 2 or 3 times.
Yeah. It's a pretty cool amount of makeup.
I thought it was that one chick from Game of Thrones. I don't know. Maybe they look kind of the same.
Oh, let's not forget, Matt, in Thor was one of your good buddies was in Thor as well as the King of the Frost Giants.
That's right, Colm Feore. Yeah. And the thing about Colm in that role is that they kind of give you a fake out that he's going to be the big villain of the movie. And then they essentially did the same thing in the second movie with Christopher Eccleston. Yeah. But again, both actors are under so much makeup that you don't really get to enjoy them. Like when Colm's in a movie, he steals it, man. He's wicked. And Eccleston's the same way. Even in G.I. Joe Rise of Cobra, I enjoyed watching every Destro scene because Eccleston's a friggin' king. He's incredible.
Yeah. But he was really wasted in that second Thor movie.
Oh my God, yes. Well, they had a TV director phoning in a movie. Yeah. Like if you want someone to direct your movie, get someone who has some vision.
But he's a good TV director because he directed Game of Thrones. That's the sad part. It's like he's directed good stuff.
The sad thing is directing TV is not directing film.
Right.
You show up on set for TV, you're a traffic cop, man. Your job is making sure that what the DP needs in order to make the show look like the show, because you don't get to have a say in that. The show has a look. You show up and make sure that all the characters who have been designed by not you play together in good time. You make your day and you go home. There's not a whole whack of movie directing that goes into directing TV. Even a $10 million episode of Game of Thrones, it's a very different kind of directing. If you step in to direct a movie and you have to invent in pre-production everything that goes into that movie that wasn't in the previous movie, that's a lot of work, even if you're doing part 2 of a series. And unfortunately, I mean, look at Terminator Genesis. That movie was so directed by a TV director. It has no originality. Every moment of Terminator Genesis is ripped out of other Terminator movies.
God, why are we not talking about Terminator Genesis for time travel movie?
I don't know.
Okay.
I'll go to bat for Terminator Genesis. It's a shitty movie, but it at least does some shit that's like fucking nuts. Like it literally is.
It's just out of control.
It's just like, you know what? Fuck it. John Connor, he's a fucking robot. Fuck it. I don't care. Guess what? Fucking everything's different. We go back in time and change everything. Oh, Doctor Who's in this movie as a fucking bad guy. Like, fuck it. They literally just like, we don't give a fuck. Like, that was, like, Terminator Genesis should have been called Terminator, we literally don't fucking care.
It's just Terminator, fuck it.
Yeah, Terminator, fuck it. That's what it should have been called.
Every Terminator movie ever has completely fucked the previous one. That's the thing about a Terminator movie. The second Terminator movie makes the first Terminator movie not happen. The third one makes the first and second not happen. The fourth one makes all 3 not happen. All of these movies do that, and that's the crazy thing about the Terminator story. And the thing that Terminator fans either don't appreciate or don't have any interest in happening is the fact that Terminator 1 is like a sort of crummy but awesome B movie that I love for so many reasons.
It's a horror
Terminator
movie.
2 is but Terminator 2 is a goddamn revelation. That movie is incredible. And so Terminator 2 made all of us think, okay, these movies are special and important, and this world is so crucial, and the die was cast about these films, which meant that you could never do what Terminator 2 did to Terminator 1. You couldn't make the movie not happen. You couldn't shatter the timeline and undo everything because, oh no, you've broken what was great, which was Terminator 2. And so no movie's been able to live up to that, not just because James Cameron hasn't had enough to do with it, but because those are films that have a false equivalence. 2 did to 1 what no one wants any movie to ever do to 1 and 2. So you're fucked. That series can't ever improve.
So, going around the horn, Matt and Eric, what would you give Guardians of the Galaxy out of 5?
Out of 5? Oh, I'd give it 5 for sure.
What about you, Eric?
I'm gonna give it a 4. I don't know. Like I said, there's something. I don't know. There's something that's just missing for me in this movie, but I still had an awesome time watching it. So it's not a bad movie. It's a great movie. I think I just wanted something else out of it, or thought or wanted it to go in a different direction that it didn't go. I don't know. Maybe after I watch it again, because I do want to go see it again, I'll feel differently about it. But yeah, I don't know. It's a solid 4 for me.
I'm going to give it a 3. It was good, not great. Maybe future viewings, maybe the third movie will change my feelings on that when we look back and, kind of look back on it once the story, in quotations, is completed. But, about 3. So, what do you guys think?
And I think you should watch the first one over again.
Yeah, I need to. There's no question. No question.
Give yourself some perspective, to be fair, yeah.
Yeah. What do you guys think it has on Rotten Tomatoes right now?
Oh, I'm sure it's pretty high.
I expect like a 93.
81.
I'm gonna 81.
Yeah.
Cool.
Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2's action-packed plot, dazzling visuals, and irreverent humor add up to a sequel that's almost as fun, if not quite as thrillingly fresh as its predecessor.
Yeah, that's about right. That's about how I feel about it.
I don't even remember what the first one had. I'm sure the first one had a 91. So
yeah.
There you go. So. All right. So before I plug next week's podcast, Mr. Campagna, anything you're working on now you can talk about? Anything you want to plug?
I'm not allowed to talk about the actor that I might have cast in my next film. He's pretty huge and awesome, but I'll let you know when I can.
Ooh, big news.
Ooh.
The secret man is secretive, but you know what? That's for good reason. So what about you, Eric?
Nothing, just the usual, making loud noise, going deaf slowly, talking to your ass about movies. Follow me on the places, at the things, and that's it.
And you can follow me on Twitter at Kulturestash. We are on all podcast apps, Android and iOS. Check us out
and
there.
Zune.
And Zune. We made the Zune joke, and then there's a fucking Zune joke in Guardians of the Galaxy. What the fuck is
so good.
Patreon.com/culture_shocked is where you can go to kick a couple dollars our way. Help us out. Every little bit helps, bringing you weekly content. Wovoka.bandcamp.com is where you can go to buy music from Eric's band. He always forgets to plug it, but I'll plug it for him. So there you go.
Aww.
Oh, you're welcome. And next week we're going to be talking about King Arthur, Legend of the Sword.
Oh, shit.
Good luck to you.
Yes. I forgot about
hipster
that.
King Arthur.
Hey, man.
Oh,
not interested.
He's not going to, swing that sword, man. He's just going to put it in a case and look at it because it looks cool, okay? He's not into violence, guys. Oh, Jesus Christ.
He's not into violence.
Hipster King Arthur doesn't like to put effort into things. He's just going to leave it in the stone and let people fall into the sword.
Yeah, it's true. That's probably how it's going to happen. So, big thanks as always to you, Matt. Thanks for coming by and talking Marvel with us. I know next month we might not have as kind things to say about the movie we're talking about, but
or we may be pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, well,
I hope so.
I doubt it. So there's that.